see my profile picture, you guys know who I want. That would be my that would be where I put all my eggs in that basket. But we'll see.
Well, what's interesting is he didn't, which I like. I mean, he didn't name Taylor the starter already. Like, there's going to be
Hmm.
competition, so they're definitely bringing in a veteran, unless they draft the rookie that falls or they trade up. That's for sure.
Mel Kiper
So,
said Shadur Sanders.
well, yeah. Well, what if he falls and they don't have to give up draft capital, which is
Man,
even
that
better?
that would be a gift from the heavens.
Yeah, I would love that for sure.
And Shador would definitely bring media attention here for sure.
Yeah,
Jets would be talk. Jets would be one of the most talked about teams again in the off season
You,
again.
you know
hmm
what, Petey? I was actually thinking about that. Yeah, there's a lot of pros to him, being a Jet. First of all, I think his personality, his cockiness, I think he can actually handle New York. New York
I
was
agree.
I don't know.
New
I
York
don't
was
know if Curtis agrees with that.
New York was too big for Zach Wilson and your
But
boy.
June, June,
Ah, shit. What up?
bro,
What's
I love,
good, bro?
bro, he is big enough for New York, but here's the problem,
Yes.
right? When he has that okay, decent game, right?
Hmm.
Nothing personal. You know who's going to run his mouth and blame everybody else. That's what Dion's been doing for the past 50 years. His whole career is everybody else's fault but his. We can't see. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I wish his name was Shadur Smith, but because he's a Sanders, bro, y'all don't. I mean, damn,
Look,
he's
listen.
good, but it's
You
not worth it, bro.
you're absolutely right. That's why he's catching some of the hate right now is because of his father. We understand that, but
It's New York too, bro. Because like,
it's
and
yes.
Aaron Glenn, truth be told, was I hate and people gonna think I'm crazy to say. I think he was just as good as Dion. Dion just had a personality. They put up similar numbers.
Ah,
Nah, man.
nah, I
Dion
wouldn't
No,
was
no,
say
here,
that.
see, there
nah.
you go. No, no,
Hey,
no.
No,
Look,
okay, but
there,
numbers
there,
are numbers. All right, Curtis. Okay, I understand the number part, but come on,
that's
there.
what I said.
Dion.
His personality, and the teams he played on is what got him that Hall of Fame thing. He had great numbers, just like Aaron Glenn got great numbers. So what I mean by that is Aaron Glenn is not going to sit there and let Dion run his mouth because he's a Hall of Famer. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say Dion's bad. Please don't take that wrong. What I'm saying is you already saw my man AG ain't no bitch, and the
No,
media hates it. Old Boomer and Geo raced his
Well,
ass. They did not like what he said because they're used to pushing the guys over.
Boomer's not. Come on with that.
Petey,
Boomer's
wow.
not.
DJ, did you listen? Did you listen?
While Curtis is
No, I
building the
didn't.
statue there in Glenn, can I talk about the pressure, please, and give you the
Yes.
Oh,
breakdown of what I heard?
all right, 3 or 4, Mark. Go ahead.
All
Go
right,
ahead, 3 or 4, Mark.
you got it. It's my pleasure. My pleasure. So I listened to 2 hours of coverage, so you guys didn't have to. I don't know if everybody listened to it, but I listened to the pressers, and then I listened. These guys sat down with the Jets too. What's his face? Eric Allen and the other guy, and they talked. And they actually
yeah,
said a bunch in the sit down that they did not say in the presser. Um, but here's the stuff I heard in June. And June, just for you, you're going to like some stuff they said, and you're going to want earmuffs for some of the other stuff. So I'm going to warn you in advance. All right. So have your earmuffs handy. All right.
mm,
In fact, I would.
June. Wait, Mark. Before you go on, June, just mute because Mark's gonna, read the script one by one. So we're gonna be here for about a half hour.
No,
So
I'm
go
going to
ahead,
do
Mark.
one, and then I'm going to turn it to you guys and get your impression of it, Petey. Damn it, dude. All right. Here, like we didn't have 2 years working together. I get it. Okay, I got you. Pete. All right, so here's
Come on, Mark. I'm kidding.
here's what I heard. You're gonna want earmuffs for this part, June. The first thing I heard them say, both men say, and said it like different versions of this, and they've said it repeatedly at this point, is that we're here to win now and from now on. Both guys said it in their own way, and they're thinking the same way about it. So the idea of slash and burning the roster to this is I'm telling you what I think they're thinking not what June, you may want them to do. So, June, your reaction.
Mark, in all fairness, and actually, got to give a shout to my man Dan Moscow for because actually Petey had posted something about that yesterday, and exactly Dan said exactly what I said. Like what do you expect him to say?
Oh man. Okay, so here's
What,
Well,
the yeah. Go ahead.
I'm
but
answer it.
June, I expected them to say there's a plan. So their plan is to win now. They're not going to rebuild
Uh,
and rip the roster to shreds.
the-
That's what they're saying.
no. Here what it is. New York fans, period, do not want to hear rebuild. They don't want to hear it. But when you actually think about it, if you got 28 free agents and 25 people under contract, that's more than half your roster. So you're actually, what do you call it? It is almost like a rebuild, but to the fans, you just don't want to hear it.
But they don't need to replace 28 June.
It, it, it,
It
it
doesn't matter.
is there 28 roster spots free right now, Petey?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see what Over the Cap has because they have 50. I believe they have 57 players already signed.
Now, now I know Mark know because the same interview that Mark was referring to, I seen too. And actually, Eric Allen said, "Yo, it's close to 30. Yes, it's 28."
57 total roster right now.
I mean, no, I'm not talking about the little contract. I'm talking about it's 28 free agents, so 28 bodies need to be replaced.
Okay, so
If,
speaking of 30 people, I got 30 points from the actual presser, and as opposed to rehashing.
Oh,
And
you
listen, I
go.
know we got hands, guys. Just jump in if you have, but please, quick hitters, because I want to get through this stuff in limited time. So just jump in. I see
Curtis,
hands up. Go ahead.
Curtis, jump in and then Buckeye.
Well, no, Mark. I wanted to hear what Mark had to say because it's June. It's going to be a hybrid. Like he said, his key word said he's going to piss some more people off.
Well,
So
Yes.
yeah,
expect
what
Brees Hall.
Curtis, what
Expect
I
Brees
like.
Hall to get traded because it's going to be a hybrid. They're going to get rid of some people we don't like, but they're
Yes.
going to keep some core people.
Curtis, what I like is he's completely different than I mean everybody's different, but this guy's like answering with fire.
He's a
Like
grown
he's
man. He's a
right.
grown
He's
man.
Yeah.
like you could tell there's no nonsense. He's not going to let the. He said he addressed Quinnen Williams. I think Salah used to sweep shit under the rug and be like, they're grown men. Let them take care of themselves. So there's definitely more accountability. That's for sure. Now, does it translate to wins? I hope it better.
And PD, I have stuff on that. I like the conversation with Quinnen. I have stuff on Muji and how they feel about the young guys on the roster when they were asked point blank about Sauce and Jarrett and some of these. Like I have stuff for that, but I want to make sure folks are able to comment on both these guys saying from the podium that we want to win now and from now on. Buckeye, you got something?
Buckeye.
He's got a
Hey,
hand up.
Buck.
All right.
Yo,
Buck, you there?
yeah, sorry, I was in the elevator. Why do we spend so much time, like, thinking that these pressers and comments in pressers are like anything more than pressers? Like, how many times do we have to do the all gas, no break to get like super pumped, and then the football game starts and like
Okay. Can
reality
I ask
settles
you
in?
something? I'm going to pull a mark on you.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
I want to
So
say some
why
more,
did
but
you?
go ahead.
Yeah. Why did you spend so much time on Joe Douglas? I never, questioned that of you.
Spend so much time saying that I believed in what he was doing.
Yeah, praising Joe Douglas.
Well, I'll tell you a number of reasons. One, I've always felt this organization is not run by the GM, it's run by the owner, right? So I feel like it's impossible to evaluate what people do in this organization because the owner and his son meddle, right? So, like, the finished product is a problem. The other thing is, I felt the direction and I understood the direction that Douglas wanted to go. He missed a lot of times, he hit a lot of times, but I think a lot of it was put on him in terms of the failure, fair or unfair, but I do believe he hit a lot. So that was my, I'm not blind in what this organization is. This organization is run by its owner. And we just run everyone out of town. And he would do this with Bill Parcells. If you think Bill Parcells would work with Woody the last few years,
That's why
he
he
wouldn't
left.
have. He
I
wouldn't
agree
have.
with that.
He
that
wouldn't
I
have.
agree with.
But that's the answer to your question. But I'll say the thing that I heard yesterday that I liked, I heard that Quinnen, the joke of what he did on Twitter, that's not a nothing burger anymore. We're going to hold these kids and petulant actions accountable for what they are, petulant actions. That's what Saleh let run rampant is Twitter. And the fans get joked on like, oh, what do we care about Twitter? I care because it shows that we have no culture, no respect, no care. So the Jermaine Johnson speech about like fans, be nice to us? No, fuck out of here with this. Go show in the locker room. Go show on the field. Create something that the fans are proud and happy of. Pete, you like sitting in the cold watching this shit?
Hell no.
So the players want you to be happy while freezing your ass off watching the game over in the first quarter?
Well, I'll tell
That's
you
what I
what. If
want.
they were winning, it'd definitely be warmer there.
There's no question. There's no question.
Okay,
The
I've
hot
got to the
chocolate would
first
be
point.
piping hot.
I've got through the first point, and we're 15 minutes in. I've got some 29 other points in here that I gathered from the pressers, etc. And
All
just
right.
so you know,
Mark, you're
you.
about to do a podcast.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The space is going to go on till 12 o'clock today, so be prepared.
Well, if folks listen, if we can do quick hitters in response, and keep the monologues
Is
still
Joe,
Go
going,
ahead,
then
Mark.
all
we
right,
can
wait,
get
hold
through it.
on. Is Joe Douglas in your pointers?
No, he's not. I'm not going back and
Good.
pass
So,
on this at all.
so good. But Buckeye can't comment on that one.
Well, all right. So,
Sorry,
and
there's
hold
a
on,
little
he's got his
shade.
hand up
There's a
too.
little shade going on because between
I
you,
like it.
well, I'm listen. I mean, there's nothing personal, but between Mark, the last couple of weeks, Buckeye, and then
Oh
you've
boy.
been going at it with Mark, but then you have no accountability whatsoever for Douglas.
Oh,
I
this
do,
is funny.
Petey.
Except
I,
you
I,
think, no, but Mark, no, Buckeye, I think he failed, Buckeye.
Petey, he failed on that
Petey.
Zach Wilson pick immensely, right? Do you? Let me just ask a question. Knowing that his job and ass are on the line, do you feel he wanted to run it back with Saleh? Do you really feel he wanted to run it back with Saleh?
Douglas?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you feel if he had the autonomy to fire Saleh and move on to Vrabel or Belichick or Harbaugh, do you feel it's like, no, those guys suck. Saleh's my guy.
No,
Can I say
I
something?
never thought of it. Well, let me answer it. Yes,
All right.
I do think he would have moved on. Yes, go ahead, Mark.
And Pete,
And sorry, one more. Do you feel that he wanted Aaron Rodgers? Do you feel like that was what he wanted to do?
no, that's definitely
Joe Douglas?
Yes.
All right,
That's a great question.
That was Woody. That was Woody. If you remember, Woody.
So those are
Well,
two
Mark,
critical points of a
this is-
GM evaluation is if he can't pick the coach after his failure and he can't pick the quarterback after his failure, then there's nothing
But
left.
Buckeye, he failed on the quarterback. He
What-
picked.
He
didn't have a
picked the
backup
wrong
plan.
guy. Yes.
He didn't.
Yes.
Right. And then he didn't have a backup plan for Rodgers.
Petey,
Go ahead, June.
you say you think that he failed, but you actually love what he did because all the players that he got that you keep talking about,
Run
you
it
don't
back.
want to run. You don't want to let him go.
Okay, no. The draft players that he drafted in that draft class, he got an A. That's an A plus, especially that he got Jamal Adams out of it and throw AVT in there. Even though AVT to me, he's
But it wasn't
not
just
an A.
one draft.
No,
It wasn't just one draft.
I'm going to put a stop to this, guys. Look, there's a whole bunch of Jet fans. This is a little this is a little self-indulgent. All right, there's a lot of Jet fans in here who are wondering what happened in the pressers with the guys that actually have a job with the Jets today. I would like to talk about that in limited time this morning, if that's all right.
All right, Mark, just give me, I never asked for much. Just give me, but I'm holding somebody accountable for their take.
I like it.
Because, Mark, it's fresh on my mind. There's not a lot to talk about. You could bring up the pointers, Mark. It is.
29 more to go.
Well, I want to
It is.
frame it. If I could frame it like this, I listened to these pressers and then tried to digest and understand and tried to read between the lines on it. I'm not reporting this verbatim and saying I believe all this shit. So I'm just giving you my impression of what I heard. Feel free to watch these pressers yourself and draw your own opinions. I'm just giving you mine.
No. Oh man.
All
Let me
right.
stop here. Yeah.
All right. So the next.
Mark,
So
you just
Quinn.
killed my. All right, Buckeye. I'll revisit this because I'm not letting you off the hook on this one.
I'm here.
And Pete, I'm not letting you off the hook either. So come on.
June,
All right,
you
get
bit.
your Mark.
All right, tag team. Go ahead.
All right. I'm hijacking the community. All right.
Just don't throw me into the turnbuckle on the ring. All right.
All right. So Quinnen, because Buckeye, I'll try and segue. I'll try and pivot on this, please. So Buckeye mentioned the Quinnen situation. A reporter asked Glenn point blank about it, and he basically said that he talked instead of dancing around the issue. He said, "I talked to Quinnen, and his understanding about all this stuff is that these guys should be keeping this stuff in house." And I agree with everything you said on that. Now we'll see if these young, and I have some stuff on this later because as I start to talk about Mooj and the draft and some of the like who they're going to be looking for, there's some players that really should keep their mouths shut and try to endear themselves to the coaching staff based on the talent that's in this draft.
Name the players, Marcus. This is where I agree with you. Name the players.
No,
this is where I really agree.
The two, okay.
Call them out.
The two people I think should really work hard to endear themselves to the coaching staff are Quinnen and Bruce. And just jumping ahead, I got that from what Mooj said about his evaluation of this class. The first two position groups he said that he really likes in this class are the D-line room and the running back room.
Mm-hmm.
So these are areas, and listen, it's competition all over the place. These guys aren't wedded to any of the players, but
Mark, excellent point here.
But, and this is where, June, you're going to want to have earmuffs, and the 3 to 4 win team may want earmuffs for this part of it. Mooj also said that they are very excited about the young guys that are on the roster. They want their to-do list. This is a big picture view that I got from this. And they both said this in their own way. Their to-do list is to keep the good young players on the team and to add good players. That's how you win. That's their philosophy. I'm just telling you what I heard from them.
June,
okay, you ready?
Your reaction.
June, remember what I sent you this morning about the Titans? They had that exact same press conference.
Absolutely. What do you expect them to say? They're not going to say, "Oh, well, we're going to make some trades. We're going to make some shit. We're not going to." They're never going to say that. No one ever said.
All right, June. Did he send? All right, but June, hold on here, because okay, buckle up. June, he did say though about Devontae that he's on the team right now. So to me, I mean, come on.
Do you?
You know,
Petey, let me ask you a question.
You know what that means. You know what that means.
Hey, Petey, do you think Devontae Adams will be on this team week 1?
No,
right.
No. But
absolutely.
To me, what I got out of it is he's gone.
But if
you
wanted to win now, why would you not want to try to keep Devontae Adams with Garrett Wilson?
That's a fact.
You know, worst case scenario.
Well, that's where
number 2 receiver on the team. You wanted to win now.
Well, that's where the whole thing where I wanted to keep Rodgers at first, but then when I saw the contract and the bonus, and then I was out on Rodgers, I still think they should keep Devontae. But what do I know?
Yeah, they don't want to keep him. So like this.
Well, because of his money, though, Jarek. That's the only reason. If he was making $10 million, they would keep him, and he wouldn't be an issue.
But
he's got to be a top 10 paid wide receiver.
Can I ask an important question? Do you think Aaron Glenn and Muji or anyone that interviewed with Woody was allowed to say, we're going to have to lose before we start winning? Do you think that was allowed in the interview, that Woody was going to hire someone that said, I'm going to have to gut this pig or do something drastic to reset in here? Or is Woody about like, what can we do to make this a winning team right now? Which do you think Woody? You think Woody has reset his expectations, or do you think Woody's like, nope, I need to hear that we're winning?
I think he said what they were saying. They wanted leaders. So I think the way they did it, they sold him.
Right. So
I
he
think they
got up on a
sold him on.
podium and he has you guys on hopium again.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, how do you reset a culture when you've got a team with no culture and heart? How do you do that?
Wait. Hopium. So now you're going to say stuff like that, sarcasm, when you praise Joe Douglas for everything.
Joe D
So now you
for
don't want to
life.
But why aren't you praising Glenn from the way he's talking?
I'm not
Because he's
anti
So what did
Glenn,
Sal?
but the
What
best
did
shot we
Douglas say,
have of
Buckeye?
Glenn,
For real?
Petey, the
Okay.
best shot we have of Glenn doing his best work is to get guys with heart, to get guys with leadership, to get guys who want to buy into culture. You can't have a captain that can't wait with his thumbs to hit send on Twitter about, oh, great, another reset. I would have called him
Yeah,
in his
that's
office
fair.
and been like, one more time, I promise you're gone. One more time.
So you don't think? Okay, so you don't? Do you think Joe Douglas or Sala did that when any of these guys?
No, I think Joe Douglas indexed too much on just talent, and he built a team that is gutless and rudderless.
And soft.
Like I think he built and soft. He built a soft roster. If I can say one thing very critically of him, he built a team that he was indexing too much on combine and indexing too little on heart.
Okay,
You
that's
know what's
fair.
funny? I remember when Deion Dawkins first said that publicly, said the Jets they soft. They don't care about winning. They care about social media, and we couldn't stand that shit that he had said. But it turns out he was right.
Yeah, Mark, real quick to
Yes.
answer your question on the players with accountability, my answer would be Quinnen and Sauce.
All right. Well, here's the
And Brees.
That's my
And
answer.
Brees.
You gotta
Brees is
say
a Twitter
Brees.
king.
You
Okay.
have to say Brees.
All right.
Now, he's not my top two choice though, but
All right.
there's a hand up, Mark. There's
But
two
you don't
hands,
think
and then
Brees was accountable? Like I think he manned up.
No.
He said that he didn't have a good year.
Think about something. Even from the door. Remember, Michael Carter was public when he sat there and said he didn't really want Brees, and then Michael Carter and Brees was public when they said they don't want another running back. Like you don't come out and say shit like that. Come on. You can't make it through the season with just two running backs sitting there saying we don't need this, we don't need that. Stop. You don't do that. Whoever
I
your
think you
team is your
guys are
team.
too focused on the individual players instead of hearing what the vision is looking like from the coach and the GM. Because now there's new
yeah,
leaders
but
in
Mark,
town.
hold
It's
on
these two
here.
guys.
Okay, yes, Mark, but the individuals have to change and buy in, or
But Pete,
goodbye.
I think
That's my
here's what
philosophy.
what I've been hearing though from fans, and it's driving me a little cuckoo, is that we talk about the coaching staff and leadership and all that and how it was devoid, that they weren't giving these young players guidance around not just how to play on the field, but also letting the players kind of run the ship. Salah said he wanted a player run operation, but they
Yeah.
have leaders now. Like Glenn, a
Okay,
former player,
Mark,
he knows
who's
that
their
he's got
leader? Okay.
Glenn.
Yes.
Every time
Okay.
I hear this guy
What
talk,
We're
player?
doing it. We're doing it again,
Yeah,
man.
I
We're doing
know.
it again.
Mark, hear me out real quick. I had to deal with June for 3 months saying tear it down. I'm over it now. And now I got to deal with you with this, and then Buckeye with this Joe Douglas shit still.
well,
Like,
listen,
come
if I'm
on,
going to
man.
listen
No,
to these guys talk on the podium and give an assessment of like what in the world they're saying and trying to read between the lines, and you guys are going to say, well, it really doesn't matter, and what do you expect them to
But I didn't
say,
say that,
and the
Mark.
rest of it, it's like,
Go ahead.
I mean,
Yeah,
what?
but Mark, now you're putting words in my mouth,
All
though,
right.
Mark. I never said like, but Mark, no, that's other folks, as you would
I,
say. That's
I'll say
Buckeye.
this. I'll say this. What I think Mark's about to do. Last year, we weren't worried that we had no OC. You know why? Because Aaron Rodgers was the OC. Remember that one? Now we don't need leaders in the locker room because we got Aaron Glenn. He's the leader.
No.
We're doing this.
Every team needs leaders in the locker room. I
Wow.
can't
I'm
believe
going
that
to
what he
Absolutely.
said.
enjoy all year long this team kind of dragging you guys through your opinions with this. And in spite of evidence to the contrary, you guys are going to cling to opinions instead of hearing what these people are actually saying and what they're actually doing. Like, I'm not quite sure what we're doing in here.
Hey, Mark. First test is let's get through March with none of our
But
players
Mark,
on
I don't think
Twitter.
they're saying opinions.
Let's
I
get
think
through March.
they're saying what they're seeing. You know, this is a difference.
Bingo.
You know,
They're
I
seeing what
support
they
you guys,
have
man.
seen
You
with
guys
shit
are
leadership
Thank you,
breaking it
Joe.
down.
sometimes.
Thank you,
That's
Joe.
the difference.
Bro, at some point, Mark, you can't let people just sell you shit. It has to be actionable items that have results. Like if you're running a company, they're giving you all this beautiful speech. If they're not giving you results, Mark, you're gonna fire them. That's just what it is.
Showtime,
But that
what
doesn't mean
results
you
can they
can't hope
show in
either.
February?
Whatever you feel like you need to see. How about you set a standard for what you need to see as far as whatever
Showtime,
parallel
can
to what
I
they're
ask you
saying?
something
What's
as
up?
an outsider? I know you throw shade at the
I'm
Jets,
not, but
vice
I'm
versa,
not
me to
throwing
you.
shades though. But
No,
it's like a
do you
standard though.
like what Aaron Glen's doing?
He hasn't done. He
He hasn't
hasn't
done
done
anything
shit.
yet.
But all right, but do you like what he's saying in quotes?
I
Whatever.
what he's saying is cute, but I got to see what adds to that. Like the other like 2 years ago, you guys had one of the best drafts, but it's this is like the coaching
Not
staff didn't
according
do
to the
much with it,
fans.
you know. But like they're
Mark,
saying,
that's
It
false.
is.
but
No,
what
it's
they're
true.
saying,
Listen to people talk about
but
it. Go ahead,
but
Showtime.
but from
Mark, the
June's
2000. All right, sorry, Showtime. Go ahead.
from June's and Buckeyes experience, they're seeing their players
They're hurt.
be over emotional on social media. They're sensitive about what their fans are saying. They're not, showing what they showed initially on the field. So they're gonna be disappointed. So okay, I thought you were this, but you're actually really this. It takes some time to see who's really who. When shit hits the fan and like they have to pick up the team and they can't do that when shit's not going, you don't want those players on your team. Shit's not always gonna be perfect. This is what it is. And these guys want to get these
Okay,
max contracts.
fair. Hold on, let me go back to the draft. But ATH and then Nick, go ahead. I want to get people in here.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. Good
Good morning.
morning.
Good morning. I just want, in my opinion, with this combine, I'm really looking at this tackle, Will Campbell. I'm hoping the Jets can get him at number 7. They're saying he's one of the best linemen in the draft, and I feel like if we can get him, Morgan Moses is most likely not staying. I think, and the line is already horrible. I don't want it to be the same thing where we just rely on Carter Warren and Mitchell. Let's get this guy 6'6", 320 pounds. He was playing in LSU. He was their best lineman. Let's complete the offensive line.
Based on what I heard them say, I would be surprised if they get Campbell at 7. I would think that grammar or tackle would be in play, that they would go there first. But the Jets have a clear need um, on the O line, and they do need to finish the O line. But I think that they're going to say, they're looking at the roster and saying, well, what positions do we need? And I have some stuff on Mooch and what they're like, how they're going to go about it, because BPA is out the window, is my impression from hearing these guys talk about draft philosophy. And Mooch did not say a lot. Like, he's very cagey, but that's something I heard very clearly.
It, you know what, I would. At first, I was singing the same thing, like get a tackle, get a tackle, get a tackle. But due to the fact that we have really one dependable wide receiver, that's it. Nobody else. You have to address it. This wide receiver draft is not deep like it was last year. So
June, we don't even know if that one wide
yeah,
receiver wants to be
exactly.
here
So
still.
But I'm gonna
cover
tell you,
yourself by taking the best wide receiver at number 7. If he's available, you take.
Joan, none of them are worth the 7 pick though. If you want a wide receiver, I would suggest moving down. If that's the case. You
That's
get
what
a
I would do.
tackle
Trade,
and get a wide
trade,
receiver.
trade,
But none of them are worth a 7,
trade.
bro. And I like Tip McMillan.
Yep.
No way.
Trade, trade back and
I
get
like
some
him too.
like you need assets. You need capital, not just for this year. And I know people don't want to talk about next year, but we have to talk about the look what the Titans are doing. The Titans
Yeah,
they're already in great position right now with the number 1 overall pick, and they're letting a lot of their key players go out there and seek trades.
keep
They're gonna
trading.
get
Well, here's
look
the
what the
problem.
trade value they're gonna get in return.
Here's the problem. This draft sucks. Nobody's going to be wanting to trade up. Except for like maybe one desperate team.
No, the
So
draft
it's going to be
doesn't it
hard.
suck. It's
That
not
that's
great
that.
at wide
But,
receiver.
but exactly, that's not true. Yes, the receiver and quarterback is not deep, but the running back position is deep, and that's gonna you're gonna trade up in the first round to
Tight
get a running
end,
back.
D tackle,
But yeah,
those
yeah, yep, tight end, defense, defensive tackle,
guards.
yep, guards,
When Muji was asked the question, he specifically said, in order, defensive tackle, running back. Those are 2 areas where he said this draft is a good draft.
Yeah, I agree with that. That is true.
That's how he's
yep,
seeing it. So I care about how
and
he's
that
seeing it, because that, I mean, if you got to believe in what he's saying, he's got to, is he signaling his draft priority? and how he's assessing the class, or to June's
That's right.
point, can we not believe anything that's being said? Because what are
Right.
they supposed to say?
I mean, he like I said, like that could mean that say, you know what? We know that it's a deep position here, defensive tackle. That actually might justify them potentially even still looking at receiver, still looking at other positions because again, they know how deep the running back and defensive tackle is. They don't have to take Mason Graham with the 7th overall pick. They don't have to take
That's a good point.
let's like they don't have to take a top tier running back in the first or even the early second round. They can take
Right,
their time,
right.
evaluate,
That's a good
and
point.
and 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 still try to come on top.
They don't have to take a Tyler Warren. It's a deep, tight end draft.
They really don't have to. Yep, they don't have
Right.
to.
Like if one of the teams behind you wants a quarterback that's falling, like a Jackson Dart, whatever reason, you could just well, you could ask for a lot.
Muji also
Yeah.
said they're in a position they like where they're at 7, but he already said, look, we'll move up, we'll stand pat, we'll trade down. Right now, everything is on the table. So, I mean, they could do a mixture of what you guys are saying.
You need a trade partner to do that, you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that could
The
be, and
the
it would
move the
have to be
move
around a
back thing.
quarterback usually.
I don't think
But
there's a fan base that doesn't scream, "Let's move back."
Yeah. You got to move back. You need some more picks.
No, but June, you need a trade partner to move back.
This is fact.
I don't think it's as free as you think. If I had to guess, we're picking 7.
It depends how the draft goes. If Carter goes number one of them quarterbacks that the teams behind you needs is going to be asking to move up.
Yep.
If there's any
Yep.
team that's going to trade up, is going to be teams that are already contenders or teams that are they're borderline
M-
contenders. Those are
mediocre
going to be the teams
teams.
that you want to that are going to be trading up. And some of those teams are going to have draft capital. There's really not a lot of teams this season that has the draft capital like they have like multiple first rounds or multiple second or even like the 2 pick. Like there's not a lot of
Well,
those teams.
the Bills have two
Oh yeah,
second
we do,
rounders.
we do, and who knows? Maybe Brandon Bean. He's made it abundantly clear. Listen, if I have to trade I'm not afraid to trade these picks away to get whoever I want to get, and whether it's free
Yeah.
agency or in the draft, like that, he's not afraid to do it. So you never know. I mean, but that's what the combine is for. See, people want to talk about what's going on in the combine. People don't want to talk about what's outside the combine, man. And that's these pre combine parties where all the journalists and all the NFL executives and some players may go to the parties. They had these conversations. So you never know what's be going on in these kind of pre-bind kind of parties or meetup or get-togethers right in Indy.
Yeah.
So
well, this
you
is the
never know. We'll
difference,
see.
Jared, between uh, Robert Sala and the immortal Joe Douglas, and the approach that that Aaron Glenn and Muji are taking. Which and Muji said this in the presser with the Jet staff, that one of the things he really is enjoying, you need to take advantage of every touch point you can get with the young players, and that's why both of them are present for all of this. So they're talking to folks outside of even all the evaluations. They're trying to understand what makes these players tick. Um, so they're there. They understand how important. Uh, and listen, the Jets have holes. Like they understand that they want to build. And both of these guys, by the way, pride themselves on being player evaluators. Like that's near the top of their resume. So this is their time to shine. So they're
Hold
doing
on,
exactly
Mark.
what you're saying, Jared.
No,
Mark,
you
there's
got
four
four
hands
hands. You
up.
got Nick, Terrence, Brown, then Trucker. Nick, what's up, brother?
Yo, what's going on? I wanted to get on Mark's
But
original point about the running backs and the D tackles in this coming draft. The running backs are, I would not expect Brees Hall to be a long term option just because I think Brees Hall is talented. Like, I have his jersey, but I think that the running backs that you can get in the 4th or 5th round this year would be like second round guys any other year. There's guys like Jarquez Hunter from Auburn, who is an absolute beast. He
Gem.
might not even
He's a
get
gem
drafted.
player. He's a gem.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and he might not even get drafted just because of like how deep the running backs are. Woody Marks is at USC, the Southern Cal. He is the best running back they've had since Reggie Bush, and he's got like a 5th round grade. I don't even understand it. But like you can find players like that in spots where you don't have to pay them much of anything and you can get the cultures that you want if you like the way that Jarquez or the way that Woody Marks talks about stuff and if you their interviews go well or whatever, they can be Jets and they can contribute day one. So, I mean, that's just my thought on it, Mark. I appreciate what you're doing, man. Taking these points and sharing them with us. It's really nice of you to do that, man.
No, listen. I was going to listen to it.
Wow, wow, a rare compliment to Mark
Well,
Torres. Good job, Nick.
look, I appreciate that. And look, I just wrote a bunch of stuff. I listened to it and tried to read between the lines, and I'm sharing these points. And I'm very curious to hear what people think about it, because what I'm hearing is a mixture of, folks holding on to the wounds of the past. I'm hearing folks saying, here's what I think they're going to, here's what I think that meant and what I think they're going to do. Folks that are feeling like they're already out. So I'm just telling you what I heard. You know what I mean? And and I think there's a bunch of Jet fans that come in that didn't have 2 hours to listen to the whole shit, right? So I'm trying to summarize it. Um, that's all. But we got more
Who
hands.
was saying that Jarquez was a hidden gem?
It's
Me?
Jarek, I think.
Bro, I watched him for 4 years at Auburn. I was a student there. He's an animal, bro.
Oh shit, I'm a Bama fan, so I mean, trust me, I know. I seen that dude live. I've seen that dude live a couple times, man. That dude,
Yo,
I mean, he's explosive. He's explosive. He's shifty as hell, man. I mean,
dude, he plays kickoff team. He runs down
yes,
on
he
kickoff.
does.
He's a starting running back. He
Yep,
plays
he's a
kickoff
gunner.
team. He's a
Yep.
gunner. He literally is just a great football player. I would love to have him in like the fourth or fifth round.
Yep.
I
Yep.
don't think we can waste a draft pick on another running back. We have too many needs, guys. To go running
Well,
back, we got
if we draft a running back, somebody's getting traded.
right.
But
And then you're flip flopping. We
listen,
got two young.
yeah,
We got two young running backs behind Hall. What are we doing, wasting a pick on a, And I get it, but we have bigger needs. We need depth at linemen, offensive and defensive. I don't think
yeah. Real
we
quick,
have that
I don't know
luxury.
who's next. Sorry, Hector.
No,
There's
no, that's
hands.
fine. That's fine.
Who's
It's
next,
Cherries,
June?
Cherries, 34.
Hey, yeah, that's right. 3-4, 3-4. But yeah, so I appreciate what Mark is saying, and I listened afterwards on YouTube to the press conferences, and yeah, I mean, I think sometimes we also hear what we want to hear out of all the words. But yeah, I just because I mean, we definitely need defensive line. The fact that he said that, running back and defensive line they're loaded this year. It could just be an acknowledgement of that. Obviously, we need a defensive lineman. It also could mean not necessarily that we're getting Mason Graham at 7, but that we could get somebody that maybe not as good, but somebody that could fill the role and fill the need as they foresee it with Wilkes and Glenn in terms of what they're looking for in the second, third, or fourth round because it's such a deep position this year. But I really was impressed with what how Aaron Glenn handled himself yesterday. But I also know that we're 0-0 in 2025, and that act will wear very thin if we're 3-10 in the middle of November. So I'm just hoping that I think it's the right mentality. I think it's the anti Salah mentality, and and that's what happens a lot. You always seem to you always seem to get the opposite of the coach you got before. But to me, I like it. I hope that what he's saying to the media translates to the players. And I think, I like the fact that he did not mention what was said between him and Quinnen, and hopefully, we won't hear anything about this anymore. We won't see these antics anymore. But I also think that he has a short leash, and if these guys still, you know, it's going to be FAFO. I think some at some point, and that's where people that we have, as good as they say, hey, we have a young core, some of them may not fit the program, and they're going to go. But I definitely agree that I like what he says. We want smart, tough, players. That's what we're looking for. I like the fact that he had a scouting background, so I think he'll be working very well with Muji, and we'll see. We'll all be excited in April. 2 years from now, we'll say, "Oh, these guys sucked when they picked this guy." It's always, we're always backseat drivers. But to me, yeah, I'm starting to wonder who we take at 7, because to me, yeah, Ted McMillan, you know, he's about at that area at 7, and I definitely think if you get Ted McMillan and you get somebody like Tim Patrick in free agency, and then you hope that Horley gets out of the doghouse this year and starts showing something, then maybe you got a nice top 4. But yeah, and the other thing I've heard from some of the draft analysts, like Dane Brugler, is you got like 2 tiers. You got the 2 quarterbacks. Forget about them for a second. Then whoever needs a quarterback is going to take them. But you got Carter, and then you got Hunter, and then you got like another tier of maybe 6 or 7 players, and then from like pick 13 to 40, they're basically essentially the same level. It's a matter of what that team needs. And maybe, this wide receiver does one thing well and it fits our system. And this other guy does something else well, and we want to utilize that in ours. It's not really like, oh, this guy's better than the other guy. It's just, but basically, like, so at 7, if we stay at 7, like I think we get a good player. I just keep hearing that a lot of these tackle prospects, like some of them are going to move into guard, and I really don't want to take somebody in 2 years who's going to move into guard with the 7th pick. So I really don't know what's the player. I just hope that somebody falls to us. If it turns out to be Mason Graham, then maybe that's good. It's just like Mark said, it kind of flies in the face of what he said, that it's a deep defensive tackle, draft. And so that you don't need to necessarily take the top of the heap. You can get value elsewhere. It just, and then when it comes to running back, it doesn't mean just, that we're going to take Genty, at number 7. Like I am wondering, like somebody said, we have 3 running backs now. I mean, yeah, if we get somebody in the 5th or 6th round, as somebody just mentioned, that basically is like a second, third normal round talent, that is like a starting running back in the NFL, sure, let's fill out our running back room. I just wonder whether we're, I want to make sure that the first 2 or 3 picks we take this year are basically starting for us. Like that they're not behind somebody. Maybe for a couple of weeks, maybe they sit behind somebody, but I hope that they're major contributors throughout the year. Otherwise, to me, it's then we didn't draft the right guy. So that's what I'm just hoping. And
Terrence is the exception quarterback.
well, yeah. Well, here's the thing. I mean, like somebody mentioned, is Sanders gonna drop? Because everybody says he stopped.
What's like Jameis Winston's market value versus Fields? Like, whose is higher?
Uh, uh I think
I
I
think
heard.
Fields' incentives might be higher, but I think Jameis Winston will get a higher base. To be fair, that's
I
what I
can't remember
I
think.
who
don't.
I
I don't
heard
think
say
so, Petey.
this.
So
Uh,
what
I
would
can't
his
remember who I heard say. Oh God,
what would like what's the projection for Jameis Winston's contract?
Probably 10 million.
That much? Wow.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's what he made last year. I think.
Yeah, but I think maybe yeah. I guess and
I
we
can't
still don't
remember
know.
who I heard say this, but I'd be
Ma-
shocked if it's Winston,
Mark,
largely because of turnovers.
I think the Jets would love to get Derek Carr if the Saints get rid of him.
all right. So real quick, what's Derek
God.
Carr worth a year? 15, 20?
20, at
14.
least
He
He's
20.
worth 14
he's
losses.
not getting $20 million. That's not
No,
that's not
I'm just
reasonable.
I'm
He'll
just
get
saying.
20,
I
bro. He's still a
agree.
star. Great defense.
Yeah. Real quick, since we're talking about Aaron Glenn and culture, I want to get Jim riled up. Jim, did you hear the culture speech yesterday? Good morning.
Yes, I did. He didn't mention. What's up, Petey?
What's up?
What's up,
What's going
Scully?
on, brother?
Everybody, ladies, whoever's in here. Um, he didn't mention culture. Let me just talk about like people talking about his pressers, and he didn't do anything, and he didn't. He's just saying words. But let's put it this way. This is what I heard. I heard him talk about address Quinn Williams, and his tweeting. So our other coach, our last coach, wouldn't say shit about that if it was brought up. So this guy said it was addressed. We talk about it like men and we keep it in house. So that's already a guy that is not your fucking cheerleader and, addresses it like an adult should and gets in front of it. I like the way Aaron Glenn and Muji both address Aaron Rodgers. They did it at the press conference, at the opening press conference, and yesterday. So they get ahead of it. So all the bullshit questions that come after, they're meaningless because it's addressed already. They get in front of it. The last coach, what would he do? Fucking bullshit, lie, dig himself deeper fucking holes. So it seems like we have two adults leading this organization, and it's more importantly the head coach that gives straight up answers, you know, tells it seems like the truth and gets in front of things. And again, when you hear him say, we talked about it like men, I addressed it with Quinn and Williams. He said, I'm going to make other decisions that people aren't going to like, and that's okay. And you know what? That is okay. That's how you fucking run a fucking team. You be a fucking man and you run the fucking team.
I can't believe.
So and when people say, when he says win now, that doesn't mean they're going fucking 10-7, 11-6. That means, and if I was brought in as a head coach, I don't care how pathetic the franchise is or the history is, I'm there to fucking win. I'm gonna tell my players we don't punt on football seasons. This isn't baseball or basketball. You have 53 guys fucking, banging their bodies, training camp, mini camp, fucking every week. You don't punt on seasons. Yeah, you fucking say we're gonna win. We want to win now. That doesn't mean they're gonna win 10, 11 games, but they're not going in there saying, guys, yeah, we're gonna suck this year, guys. It's gonna be a long season. They don't. No, you
Exactly.
don't fucking say that to 53 fucking guys. You don't.
Hey,
If you have any worth and self-worth and self-confidence, you fucking say we're gonna win.
Jim, I don't believe it, but I agree with you wholeheartedly. Can you believe that shit? I agree with Jim 200%.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what fucking June. June has seen the fucking light.
Can I
Yeah.
comment
Well,
on this? Commute?
wait. Can I just make one comment,
Yeah.
real Mark? One
So
sec.
wait, before
Mark,
you say, Petey,
Jim.
wait, just so I know, like people like, oh, he didn't do anything yet. No, he is doing things. He's setting the tone, and he's an adult. He's a grown man, treating them like grown men, and
Mm,
getting in front of shit. And we haven't had that. Yeah, Petey,
yeah.
sorry.
No, I was gonna say I moved on from listening to June for 3 months about tearing it down. I'm over that. Mark and Buckeye are on my list now because
What?
it's not well. Mark's
Well,
all over the
well,
place. He likes what
well,
Glenn said yesterday, but yet then he
Petey,
says, "Oh, we're gonna win
Look,
3 to 4
look,
Petey,
look.
games."
I got Buckeyes back, but Mark, he's on his own.
Mark is
Petey,
on his
Petey
own.
is he's an undercover.
Mark set up a
That's how
burner
I
with
like
that
it.
guy. Mark
Mark,
set up
Torres
a burner.
Island.
That guy
We
Nick
got
Nick
Torres
Torres.
Island
Mark,
going.
Mark, don't worry about it, man. Petey,
Mark got a compliment today.
he's an
But
undercover agent for the 34th team.
I
He's a
like
performer.
hell
that.
no, nah,
I
man,
like that.
nah, bro.
See, he's doing his job already. He's doing his job
I'm
already. That's his
not.
job.
Mark
That's
knows
his
where
part.
I
You're
stand
supposed
with
to deny.
this. No, Buckeye for real with Joe Douglas shit. I'm tired of that shit too. He's gone.
That's
Wait,
it. Listen,
Just
Joe Douglas is
just
gone.
like
Sal is gone. Rogers is
yeah,
gone. That's it.
just like I'm gonna segue into this. Number 8's gone, Mr. Jokes.
That's it. We move along. And again, I know people don't want to hear, hope. Like my biggest thing with this coaching staff now is can he, will he be out coached? Will he someone brought up Herm Edwards before. You got to be aggressive. Don't this is a made for scoring NFL. I don't want him like Todd Bowles when there's 40 seconds left in the half and the Jets have the ball at the 35 and we just fucking take knees and go into halftime. No, no, no. No, no, no. Like you try to get that field goal. Get into field goal
Yeah.
range. You don't just fucking
Wait,
kneel
Jim.
down.
Can I just real quick stop you right? Do you expect, or anybody on the speaker stage expect Glenn to be aggressive like Campbell?
No.
I think to an extent, yes, but Campbell was, sometimes you're aggressive to a fault, but I'd rather be aggressive than just taking knees when listen, you always try to get points, like
So you're gonna ask the
in
defensive
in
coach.
in
You're
my
gonna
eyes. But I also like that Glenn right off the bat. He says, "I'm not calling plays." That's another plus that right off the bat that I liked. He knows, how big of a role being a head coach is, and to be a head coach of the team, which he said that's what he's gonna do. That's the right way to go about it. So, again, we don't know if how he is coaching wise, game management, clock management, all that stuff. That's, to be determined. But you know, let's see. But everything I'm hearing from him, we didn't hear that from the last head coach. We had a slogan, that's great, but the Quinnen thing, the other stuff that he said, it's that's what I want to hear. This guy is, he again, he coached, he was taught under Parcells as a player, as a coach, Peyton, Campbell. So, and I like everything he's saying.
Yeah, Mark, go ahead and jokes.
Uh,
Mark,
to
you don't have to
Jim's.
raise your hand. I know you're being
Well,
respectful, but
yeah.
go
Well,
ahead.
I'm going. I mean, look. Okay. Where June and Jim are agreeing, and I thought this point was really important. That they want to. The idea of keeping Quentin accountable is like that's important, and they have leadership in the room. Now, no one is saying that means that they're winning games all of a sudden. Like they haven't done anything. It's February. So I mean, we're not saying this is this conference means that now they're a playoff team. Nobody's saying that. So anyway, there's some interesting stuff they said around. Like he talked about Hayden, the tight end coach who's now the O-line coach. They said some interesting stuff about that. I want to talk about that in a few. But you've got folks who want to talk, so I'll shut up.
No, yeah, well, after jokes, go
No,
ahead. I
no.
know you
I'm
wanted to
I'm
say
actually
something.
I'm tied up there, Mark.
Mark, real quick,
Yeah.
jokes to the point I asked about Glenn being aggressive. I was going to say because he's a defensive coach,
Leopard,
you don't think
a
that
leopard
he'll
doesn't change his spots, my man.
say what?
A
I didn't
leopard
hear that.
doesn't change his spots.
Oh, so you think Glenn will be more
Yes,
conservative? Okay, I think it'll be mixed, but yeah, I do think
aggressive defensively, conservative offensively.
so. More boring football. Mark, go ahead. If nobody's talking, bring up the PowerPoint.
Well, I got
Okay.
one more other point if you want to hear it from what I took from
Go ahead, Jim.
Glenn. I like that he mentioned about finding people from, anywhere, small schools, big schools. That again, another way of how you got to go about it. Why do, like, a lot of teams, not a lot of teams, a lot of players can be undrafted and they're ball players. I know the combine is, looks good in the big schools and all that shit, but again, you have to find guys from anywhere. If you're a friggin' ball player and you're in a small school, that doesn't mean you're gonna fail in the NFL. Like, it's good when you go in a big school and you're playing, better competition. Of course, that's a factor, but that doesn't mean, we can't get this guy like a Wayne Corbett from Hofstra. There are plenty of undrafted free agents that make it in the NFL and are very good players, or the fifth or sixth round. But so yeah, I like that you know thing too. Like, he has measurables. I think someone asked something about, I don't know if it was corners or receivers. You're talking about long arms and speed. I don't know what, I couldn't hear what the question was, but there's obviously measurables. But yeah, you have to go look, and it doesn't matter. He said it doesn't matter what school you were from, or where you were coaching from a high school coach. If you're a good coach, you're a good coach. Yeah, if you're a good player, you're a good player, and that's what he wants to bring in his team. That's what I want to
Talk,
hear from my guys.
talking about the coaching for a second, Jim, something that he said as he was assembling the coaching staff is that a lot of his hires were about compatibility. Because he's like, listen, a lot of teams want to get all the big names, but the thing is, you have to get guys that can coach together and then complement the weaknesses of the, like, related. Like, he wants a staff that's interacting, not just a bunch of individuals that are terrific in their roles. Like,
Yep.
that's not how he put the staff together. So I thought that was very interesting that he said that. And he looks at the team the same way. Like, to your point around
Yeah.
getting players, it's not about, he said, I want smart, tough, aggressive, and resilient players. And I don't care where they come from.
Exactly. And that's the right way to go about it. How many guys you get from big schools that are absolutely useless? And then you get a kid from a small school. So yeah, like, hopefully I'm taking their word for what they're saying, and let's see. But at least if that's their mindset, and again, that's how he's holding his team accountable, talking with Quinnen, that's what I want to hear from my head coach. That, we talk about it like men, we keep it in house. Because I mean, how many times does shit come out of the Jets? I don't know if people have an agenda, and I like that Muji shot down everything that Rossini said. So I think people got to stop listening to what or reading what Rossini writes, and taking it for what it's worth, because everything gets shot down, everything she does. So
And I think to
I mean,
that
again,
point,
I don't.
we're going to hear from different reporters now because with Glenn and Muji, like now these are guys who have their own inner circles. So we may hear reporters, Detroit guys, the Denver guys who have already built up connections like close to Muji and Glenn, start to say stuff that our own beat may not report, that the national guys may not report. Like, I want to pay attention to what they say because they may have
Yeah,
contacts. You know what I mean? Like, they may say
yeah.
something. So I'm very interested to
And
see.
listen, the only thing Rossini does is write Jets hate articles. That's all she does. And I know she backtracks and says, "No, I don't do that. I'm a Jets fan. I grew up a Jets fan." No, no. Like, listen, Josina Anderson wrote a whole article about the Jets with no bullshit about Woody and all this stuff. So, Rossini is the only one that comes out with all this bullshit about the Jets and dysfunction and all this shit. But again, they managed to get, a very good hire, and all these people who's going to want to coach the Jets and all this shit, and all these things are shot down, but she continues to write all the bullshit.
Well,
She's the only one. So
Jim, this is a
people got to
benefit.
stop.
This is a benefit of getting Rodgers out of the building. Honestly, if there is a benefit, because I think Rossini had an axe to grind with Rodgers, and a lot of the media did. So, like, the Jets have passed all that now. So uh, if there are like, who's going to be writing hit pieces on Aaron Glenn or Mucci? Like, I don't think we're going to see really any of that.
Yeah, we shouldn't. Yeah, we shouldn't. I mean, the whole thing wasn't on coaching. It was, basically, killing the owner. But again, all I heard from Aaron Glenn and other, people around the Jets, when they talk about it, is their commitment to winning. The owner wants to fucking win. And I know people like, when you hear Aaron Glenn say that, I know they want to kill Woody and sell the team, which is never going to happen. But, you know, the guy spends money, top notch facilities. He stayed out of fucking Joe Douglas' way for 6 years, and Salah, got whatever 4, and then eventually he can't fucking take it anymore. And I would be the same way as an owner. Again, I know what football's supposed to look like, and the fucking Jets look like fucking shit. Year 3 in, with giving them everything they fucking wanted. So yeah, it was the right decision by Woody. You might not fucking like it, but he was right. He was right to do what he did. And hopefully, again, I like what Glenn's saying already, because we have an adult that's not a fucking cheerleader,
Hey, Petey, you
and the
here?
Jets need that in the worst way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I had a call, but I'm
no, you're
back.
good. I was going to talk about Hayden, the tight end coach turned O line coach, because Glenn said something interesting about that.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know how bad Keith Carter was last year. And we haven't really talked about all we've been saying about this new O line coach is, oh, well,
Well, Keith Carter got a new job. He's the assistant offensive line coach.
terrific. Great.
Where?
Do the Jets play him?
Minnesota.
Where?
Minnesota. Minnesota,
Oh,
I believe.
okay.
Great. I hope the Jets play him. I don't think they do, right? Because they played Minnesota last
No,
year.
I don't think so.
No. Bill, you haven't been on in a while. What's up, man? Good to see you.
Petey, how you been, guys?
Good. Thank you.
Um,
Hope you're well, brother.
I am. Thank you. Um, just to push back a little bit on the assumption that Glenn is going to be a conservative offensively, and two examples that came to my head right away was A, he comes from a staff that the head coach was. You could criticize him for being overly aggressive in his decision making. So he comes from a very aggressive offensive system. Um, and the other thing was he was on yesterday. You guys hear me? I hear something going on in the background.
You guys want to do a courtesy
I
mute,
got
correct?
it. I got it. I got it, Mark.
Okay, that's better. And then the second point was yesterday he was on the Jets with Greenberg yesterday, and he was talking about how in Detroit they identified offensive plays and speed was like a huge factor. Like he's all about this speed on offense. And to me, and he brought up Jamison Williams, the receiver. He was specifically brought there to open up the field for everybody else. So I I think his mindset is not that of a conservative coach. Now I could be wrong, and when gun to the head and when it comes time to call those plays, we will see. But I think it's really unfair just because he's a defensive coach right now to label him conservative when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. I think it's more. I think there's signs there that he won't be that way, and let's just hope. Let's hope he won't be. But that's all I had to say. I think a little pushback on the whole conservative Glenn play calling thing. I think it's a little premature right now. Thanks,
Hey,
Petey.
can I say something about that? And Bill, I heard exactly the same thing about at least that part of it. But I was listening to Aaron Glenn talk about Detroit's offense. He said, look, the way they function is having a clear out guy, which is JMO, and then having one of the best slot receivers in football, which
Yes.
is Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then having a 1-2 punch at running
Yes.
backs. You
Yes.
want a guy who can, make house calls, and then you want a bruiser. And then he also said that speed
Right.
puts fear to defense, especially at certain positions. Now, personnel wise, do the Jets have all those pieces? This is what Aaron Glenn wants to run. So I look at this as, okay, what does that mean for Muji in terms of going to find players that fit that scheme and system? And in terms of how aggressive Glenn will be, it's a big question mark because I think if they have the personnel and they're showing that they can function on offense, he may want to be aggressive like you saw Detroit be. But if they don't have the horses, right? So who knows on that part of it? But that's what I heard
Right.
Aaron Glenn talk about his offense. It's the first time I heard Aaron Glenn talk about his offensive philosophy, so I thought it was interesting.
Right. And also leans to the fact what he talked about was you know, this notion that he's definitely going to be a conservative play caller. I don't see that in what he was talking about yet. Like you heard the same conversation I heard, Mark. So, yeah, I just think we just have to hold the horses on labeling him a certain way right now.
I mean, I get that you guys want to be. I guess I'm the guy that has to throw
Molotov cocktail into the love fest.
No,
But
not
I
you,
got to
Joe.
be honest with you. If you guys listened to that press conference yesterday and you think that you got anything of value out of that, I like I don't. I,
No, jokes. It wasn't the press, jokes. It was
let me ask you a question, Bill. You said that it's unfair. Can you name me a defensive head coach, and I'll give you Sean McDermott because he has Allen. That's an aggressive head coach.
no. I get you. I get you.
So what
No,
did you?
no. I get what
No,
you're
no, no,
saying,
no,
Joe. So
no.
I'm not
But
Yeah, I'm not criticizing
no,
you. But what I'm
I
saying
know you're
is,
not, Bill. But what I'm saying to you is, history tends to show that I'm more right than anybody else in here with this comment about defensive guys.
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I
They
agree with
play not
that.
to put their defenses in a bad spot. They play ball control offense, and like
Right.
you can argue until your face turns blue because you want it to be different and you think it's going to be different, but
Yeah, but you're
history shows
generalizing,
No, I
man.
just brought up. No, but yeah,
am I?
no, but jokes.
Yeah,
I just brought up two
you're clearly
points
generalizing here.
that
The
I
guy
just
gave
brought up.
you. Let me ask you a question. Let me
Mark, can
ask you
you
a
hear me?
question.
Go
All
ahead.
right. So the guy
What do you
said
think?
those four things about Detroit's offense like he said those four things: JMO clearance the shit out, a slot guy, and a 1-2 punch at running back. And I think when he says shit like that, I think Glenn says the same thing to the media he's saying to the players too about philosophically how he's like a personnel and all that shit. Do you think he's full of shit?
So
He's saying bullshit, and then he's telling the team something different?
so
Because that's what you're having us believe right now.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Bill. I'm just
Yeah, we got
asking.
you.
Like, is everything these guys are saying from the podium
No,
bullshit,
I'm
or
just
are there kernels of
yeah.
truth
And
in it?
Mark, and Mark, and Mark, to your point, and the other thing is he comes from a team and a system that's overly aggressive. Like Dan Campbell has been criticized for his aggressiveness in certain situations. So some of that had to rub off on Glenn. That's all. And I'm just like Joke said, it's all hope and speculation. And based
That's
on
fair.
track record, defensive minded coaches do tend to be conservative offensively.
That's
He's
also true. Yep.
100% right.
so
It's also true. Both things could be true. And I'm just trying to, like I said, I'm just trying to grab a couple of points
my
that
my
give me some
my
hope.
boss came in.
You know.
Mark, I'm not disagreeing that he gave you his offensive philosophy, but running clear out routes doesn't mean you're aggressive. It means that you have a scheme that you want to run and you have an understanding of what you want to do. That doesn't mean you're aggressive. That just means you have a plan, which good,
But
but that doesn't make you aggressive.
Jokes, what do you make of the point that he comes from a system, Dan Campbell, who, like I said, been criticized for being overly aggressive, and maybe some of that's rubbed off on
Bill, I
him.
would argue that he's over aggressive because he didn't trust the defense, and that might be an indictment on him. But I
Yeah,
don't
but
want
are
to say
you
that
when
to
you
him.
Yeah,
say
yeah.
aggressive, do you mean like going for it, like on like certain things, or like being aggressive, like putting
Yeah,
points up?
third and 12, and you're running a draw. That's being aggressive. Are you going for it, or are you going to run a draw,
Yeah, all right,
or
I got you.
or
Okay,
a
no,
screen, or
yeah,
be
I don't want
safe?
to. 100%. I agree with that, and we don't know.
And guess what? He's probably running a screen, so he doesn't put his defense in a bad spot.
Well, you know what? Well, a screen and a drawer is like two different things. Like uh,
They're both safe and not aggressive.
yeah, but a
But that's
screen you
not
can
what the
get
Lions
12
do.
yards. A drawer, you're probably not. I'm just saying. Listen, I don't want
Maybe.
to. I don't want to see that kind of offense either. Again, I'm hoping, and I've been saying this. This is a made for scoring NFL. The offensive get basically you can't touch receivers, you can't touch a quarterback. So I hope that Glenn again coming knows this, and I don't want to see ground and pound, and like I said, I don't want to see a draw on 3rd and 12. It's a made for scoring NFL. Fucking, you just lost in the playoffs, whatever the fuck it was, 45-40. So again, you have to put points up, and hopefully he does understand that. My thing is I'm terrified of is that this offensive coordinator. Hopefully he's not like Mike LaFleur, and he tries to reinvent the wheel. Now, and like that's what terrifies me of being a first time play caller. Like, if you have a veteran guy, you can do more stuff, obviously. But if we have a rookie quarterback, just to say starting, you know, just you got to keep it simple, in the beginning. Like, Mike
Jim,
LaFleur tried to reinvent the wheel with fucking Zach Wilson, and it
I
was a
hate to tell you,
disaster.
Jim, the day they fired Mike LaFleur is the day they fired Robert Saleh. So I actually disagree with you.
Well, I'm saying, like, I don't know what one has to do with the other. I'm just saying LaFleur tried to reinvent the wheel with a rookie quarterback, and it fucking failed miserably.
No, the rookie quarterback sucked, and he took the hit for it.
Well, he sucked, but I don't think LaFleur did him any favors trying to fucking,
I don't
you
know.
know.
Every time you got a different quarterback underneath Mike LaFleur, they scored points. So I disagree.
Well, they saddled a first-time play caller with a first-time quarterback, and there are some fans that want Jets to shoot up the board to go get, I don't know, Cam Ward or Sanders. So they're gonna it's repeating history. If you ask me, I'd rather Engstrom be in year two. I think it leans towards them bringing in a vet. I don't think they're gonna roll with Tyrod. Like listening to Muji talk about it, he's like, listen, we like Tyrod, we respect Tyrod and all that stuff. However, everything is on the table. So they're going to add to that room going into week one. I'd be surprised, hearing what these guys said, I'd be surprised if going into week one, Taylor is a week one starter.
Yo, can I interject real quick on this topic?
Yeah, man, go ahead, bro.
So I'm listening to the defensive coordinator aggressiveness, and I do have to agree. So one thing about Sean McDermott, and I think a few Bills fans will probably agree with me on this, is that he's not aggressive unless it's a must-win game, right? When you're in a situation against the Chiefs or in the playoffs or to win the division, like, yeah, he gets aggressive. But he's not really aggressive the way you guys might be thinking that he is outside of that. When there's issues, there's certain games I can point to where it's like he could have fucking went for it, but he didn't. Um, and another thing that plays into that is you do have a quarterback who could do what he does. So if he gets in a pickle, he could use his legs, whatever. And in order to be aggressive, you need to have the quarterback to be able to facilitate that aggression. You know what I mean? When it comes down to a guy like Dan Campbell, I think Dan Campbell's a unicorn. The shit that he does is no other coach does, to be honest with you. So I think saying that he takes from that, he'll take from that tree, I don't believe that. I think he's going to be his own man, but I agree with the point. Defensive coordinators are generally not aggressive people, and you got to have the quarterback and offense in place if you want to be aggressive. And from everything, it sounds like I said, living out here, whatever. My family's a fucking Jet fan. The offense isn't there to have that aggression. So although he says it, I don't think you're gonna expect that this year, unless it's a must-win game. But outside of that, that'll probably be the only time you'll see that. It's not gonna be like every single down. Every single series aggression the way Dan Campbell does it, and it probably won't even be close to anything near like it. So I think that aggression point just got to get tempered a little bit when it comes to what do you think Glenn's going to do, because quarterback isn't there to do it. So.
Well, to that point, I think they know what offensive scheme they want to run. And I'd be very surprised if they go with like a running quarterback and a bunch of RPOs. And I'd be shocked if that's the road they go. I think they want someone who's going to operate from the pocket primarily. So that's my sense of hearing these guys talk about the position. Because when they talk about Tyrod, they talk about him in glowing terms. But they know that, listen, man, they know that he's not the week one starter. So I don't know who it's going to be. But to your point, you're right. I mean, I think if they trust the offense, you got to trust your offense if you're going to be aggressive on third down, on fourth down. You know what I mean? And we don't know what it's a work. Like we gave you four pieces: a clear out guy, a slot guy, and a 1-2 punch at running back. The Jets don't have that burner that could really take the top off the defense. Like Garrett's quick, but that's not his role in the offense. If anything, it's him operating as a premier slot guy, really. And then do they have their 1-2 punch at running back with Brees and Allen in terms of a guy who can make out skulls and bruiser? You could argue that, I guess. But they need a speedster. Those are the four pieces he was very specific about what he loved about how Detroit functioned. So I'm sure him and Engstrom are having those conversations. I mean, anyway. But the other point, and this is the last of the 30 points for PD Buckeye and June, had to do with Hayden. This part was interesting because I cared about it because I like good O-line play, and we all know how bad Keith Carter was. And I was concerned when I saw that this guy Hayden was a tight end coach and not an O-line coach specifically. And something that Glenn said is that, yes, Hayden was a tight end coach, but he had a big hand in the O-line coaching as well. He actually said that the tackles for Detroit, after things were done, like the tackles would actually go work with Hayden, even though Hayden was under his name, his title, the tight end coach. So this guy might be a better O-line coach than we're thinking based off of just job title. So I found that a little bit reassuring, but we'll see. And we know that they have to go get a right tackle. It's likely going to be a rookie. Tippmann's still young, and this guy's still snapping high. Like, can he work with him to fix that? Um, so, ABT's coming off a so-so year. Like, this next O-line coach is going to have their work cut out. He's got talent to work with, but he's got work at Vashnu in the run game. Like, his pass pro is great, but on the run game, I feel like he's lacking. So, he's got his work cut out for him. So I find myself being more optimistic about that hire.
What was the statement that you heard that you don't feel that a running quarterback is the plan? What was that statement? I'm asking. I'm not challenging.
Yeah, no. So here, okay. So one of the things, so Moochie was talking about how drafting and how they were going to go about it. He's like, look, the first thing we did once we got the coaching staff in place is we put the coaching staff together with the scouts and said, okay, schematically, guys, this is what we want to do. Scouts. So now go find players that fit this. So my rationale for saying, okay, I would doubt that they want to do a running quarterback is that I think Engstrom is telling them, look, this is the sort of offense we want to run. So, and we don't want to change it based off the personnel. This is what we want to do. So go find players that fit it. That's the part that would surprise me, that they're like, oh, well, we're going to get a running back and have that sort of offense, a running back quarterback, and have that sort of offense in year one, and then go draft to that situation? Or would they have the same exact offense in place year one and year two? That's the part that, like, why I just don't understand why you tell scouts, hey, go find guys that fit, this particular scheme. I'd be surprised if they go get a running quarterback.
Can I ask your opinion? Do you feel Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, and Drake May are running quarterbacks?
You said Daniels.
Yeah, the first 3 picks
May.
last year. Do you feel they're running quarterbacks?
Who was the guy who said in the middle? You said Daniels, May.
Caleb, Daniels, and May.
No, I don't see.
Feel that you don't feel they're running.
They can be mobile. No, they can be mobile. Like Daniels he's smooth. But if you watch Daniels drop it in the bucket, like that guy, he's an excellent passer. May I haven't seen enough of, and Williams, I didn't really watch a lot of him.
So you determine a running quarterback as someone that can't pass? Because all 3 of those guys can run like lightning.
Yeah, but I don't have questions about Jaden Daniels being able to read a defense. Like, I have serious questions about Justin Fields being able to do it. And he's years in. And these are rookies we're comparing him to, which isn't a fair comparison anyway. I mean, the question you're really asking, Buckeye, is like, do we think that Angster, the first-year play caller, is going to feel confident in himself, and that Glenn's going to want to take the chance on saying, look, we're going to try to teach a quarterback how to process? And by the way, we're all forgetting Rick Spielman. Like, Spielman's in the building now, and Spielman has said that the 2 things he's looking for is in a quarterback is their ability to process from the pocket and speed to process in 2.5 seconds. Like, that's the guy that's chirping in Angstron's ear about it. You can hear me?
Yeah, Petey, I can't bring June up. I don't know if Petey's here anymore. I can't bring him up. I pray that the long term, because again, I'm not looking at this next season as the plan. I'm looking at it as a bridge gap for to be determined. I pray we do not build this team around a pocket passing quarterback. The league has moved on. We've done this. We've done this over and over. We do not have the Detroit Lions offensive line. We do not have the Detroit Lions offensive line. We will not have the Detroit Lions offensive line. So, I need let's call it a mobile quarterback that when the play breaks down, he could leave the pocket and run for yards. We haven't had that in a long
But
time.
there are differences in mobile, right? Like, would you consider Bo Nix mobile?
Very,
Yes.
Okay.
very.
Would you consider? Well, we all know Justin Fields is mobile. I I think that you have to have a blend of both. I don't think that you need to be as electric in the running game as Fields can be. But if Fields was a little bit less uh, electric as a runner, and like if you can just like if you're like on Madden, and you take 10 points off of like scrambling and put 10 points on like play recognition, I think he would be phenomenal.
What
Jokes. I
And
think the guy that honestly, like, he's mobile, but he's a combination. And again, to be determined if he's even good. When the play breaks down, Brock can get 7 yards.
Brock,
Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was mobile. I
oh
mean, yeah,
yeah,
Brock Purdy was.
yeah,
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 Brock Purdy's a mobile
he's
quarterback.
on the lower scale of it, but yeah, he's not a complete sitting duck.
Yeah,
I want, you're right. I want, but I think that that's also like youth. Like Howard, would you consider Howard mobile
I
coming out
think he absolutely has.
on the lower scale though?
Yes,
Not like
yes,
he's not running
yes,
for 700 yards, but
yes,
he's mobile.
yes,
Um, Trevor Lawrence is another one. Trevor Lawrence is mobile,
yes,
right?
yes.
But he's not a runner.
I mean, in college, I mean, we thought. I
And
mean,
by the way,
wait, but
Zach was mobile. He just ran the wrong
yeah,
way.
Yeah, he's
in,
just
in,
retarded.
He ran
I'm
the
sorry to use
wrong
that word.
way.
in
Sorry,
He was
college,
he's
we
dumb.
extremely
thought that
mobile. He just ran the wrong way.
Justin Fields was that quarterback. No one would have ever expected Justin Fields to rush for 1,000. No
No,
one. Like I didn't think he had
no,
that in him.
because he didn't run in college. He was a pure thrower in college with like he had the threat of running. But like I didn't remember Justin Fields coming out and being like, "Yep, Michael Vick." No, you were getting a pocket quarterback.
But that was different in Ohio State because they were getting separation like beyond belief. Guys are
Right.
wide open,
Yeah,
nonstop. But I will say this though: a running quarterback, in my opinion, is a guy who doesn't let a play develop, and he'll look to run before he looks to pass. That's what Fields does. He looks to run before he looks to
and
pass.
that was Josh Allen like 3 years ago. It was
Josh, so
1, 2, and then he
Yeah,
would go off. Now he's
that
going
was his
through
rookie
progressions.
season. That was Josh's rookie
Well,
season
even
was
a
that
second year.
was like that.
but that was also because of the weapons. He didn't trust what he had around him, and I
Yeah,
think it was just a
and
mindset of just trying to make plays.
he was able to develop. The question is, Fields has now been through 1, 2 offensive coordinators, 3 with Pittsburgh. This is his 4th offensive coordinator in 5 years. Like sometimes, like you're just damaged goods. Like your potential, you're always going to be potential, but that's all you're going to be is potential.
Jokes, and again, I don't think this is the bar of excellence, but I like where Fields is now more than I liked where Geno was before the trends, like before he became. And by the way, I don't think Geno's great. I think Geno was put in a system and a roster where like they probably won despite him more than
The
won
thing
with him.
is, though, you saw flashes of excellence with Geno throwing the ball early. You had like even when he was on the Jets, you saw flashes that he could become a really good thrower of the football. And you know what? Geno Smith is like Justin Fields, but like not as muscular, like more lean. He's a guy that wants to throw the ball and can run. Like Geno didn't like to run when he was with
For
us.
sure.
Remember?
And Mark keeps saying
But
read a defense. I don't think Geno can read a defense.
maybe not as good as you would want to. I just think that the in our current situation, I think that you just want, and I call him Eggman because I butcher his name. You want Eggman to really install what he's got to install without any
Sure.
limitations, and it's tough because the when you look at the landscape of quarterbacks, the options are very limited. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's tough.
With a
Now
rookie
look,
quarterback, you want to
I'll
install
say
the
this.
system in year one, and then people are learning the same thing in year two. That's the part that makes me question Fields as a fit
We
in Engstrand's offense because it's like, why would you want to teach? I understand put a package in. Let's say Fields were like, okay, we're going to do a lot of RPOs and the rest, we're going to really simplify this shit. Like, uh, are you going to want to do that in year one and then change it up in year two? I doubt
Now,
it.
now,
here's
now, Mark, my argument to that is, to me, a really good OC builds a system around what he has. He doesn't try to fit people into his so-called system like Josh McDaniel for example. You've seen him take Tim Tebow to the playoffs and win a playoff game. You've seen him make Mac Jones a Pro Bowl quarterback and actually make it to the playoffs. It's
Yeah, but
two
I've seen
different
him
June,
win with
systems.
Cam Newton,
June,
but the Tebow one, you're wrong though. That was Fox.
you're comparing
Oh
June a rookie, a first time offensive coordinator with the Jets. You're comparing him to
no no
McDaniel's.
no 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 no
Yeah,
no
that's
no no
nasty,
no no no
Jones.
no no no. I'm not comparing. What I'm
No, he's
saying
saying that he's multiple.
what I'm saying is a good OC build around what he has. If his strength is rolling out, then you roll him out. If his strength is running, then okay, you start making some RPOs.
I just think that you have the finished product of Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor.
Look, I think you
Just more fragile. It gets hurt.
you have
And Taylor's better,
now look
to be honest.
Yeah, he's
you
the
he's
he's
a
the finished
finished
product of
product,
Justin Fields,
right?
just not as
So
athletic.
jokes. Let me just ask real. Sorry, I've been away. I've been listening, but I can't talk. I just got out of
Peter,
work.
You know I was trolling you yesterday,
Of
right?
course. Why
All
do you
right,
think I put? Why
all
do
right.
you think I
You
put
see, I had
periods
I had I
there?
had I had people coming at me with pitchforks.
No, that
I didn't see
no,
that.
I put I he said something and I wrote, then why'd you get rid of your quarterback? And like, cannot people see my Abby that says bye bye, Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, and then I'm like, jokes. You don't believe this, so of course, man. But now I forgot what I was going to say.
I'm
Oh,
not going to die
Taylor.
on a hill for
Do you
Fields.
think Taylor is going to start?
No,
Jokes. Because to me, it sounds like there's a competition at quarterback, and we don't even know who it is. So
I,
whoever they bring in is going to compete.
Let me ask you. I'll ask the room a question. Would you be surprised if Taylor is the opening day starter? Because I would
I
not be.
would be.
no no
No,
I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't.
be.
I
I
I
would
wouldn't
be.
would
be. But
uh,
would I be surprised if he was?
Yes,
Wait, who?
No, Tyrod Taylor.
Jokes, I would
I'd be
be.
double
shocked
T.
if he's the starter week one, based on what I'm hearing
Really?
these guys say.
Here's my thing. You either draft a quarterback and he's your week one starter, meaning Tyrod, or you bring in a veteran and Tyrod is what he's a backup. But I think Tyrod's a starter, and I whether I like it or not, I think they draft a quarterback this year.
I think they do all three. They draft, they sign a free
yep.
agent, and Tyrod's
I'm
in.
going. I'm
I
with
think
you.
that's what you're
I'm with
looking
you,
at.
Bill.
June, we
I
know
think that's
why.
what
You
you're
know
looking
why
at.
you with him. We know why.
I can't wait till you guys sign Sam Donald to a 5-year deal, please.
But jokes, can
Bruh.
when you say draft quarterback, you're talking about a Will Howard McCord, or you're talking about a Shador Sanders or
You
Dart?
know, I listen. I would take Ward. I want no part of Shador. Dart scares me too. Like I don't.
Same here.
There's something about Dart when you watch him throw. His mechanics are all like wonky. His legs never match up his upper body. Like he's throwing and he's like swinging his back leg. It just looks
He
like
doesn't.
shit.
He doesn't set his feet.
No,
He does not
no,
set his
no.
feet. He rarely
That's because he
throws
never took a
power.
snap under center.
The
He
thing,
doesn't drop
Nope.
back.
the thing with him is that's a kid that if you draft, like the Rams should draft him.
Who?
Dart.
Yes.
Like the Rams
He
should
would fit
draft him.
perfectly in the McVay system.
They would fix his feet. Like we don't know if we're the team to draft a kid like Dart and completely fix his mechanics. We don't know that.
Jokes. Are you going to root for the Rams once they get you know who? If they trade Stafford?
I will viciously root for them to lose. Uh,
No jokes. There's somebody DM me. Uh, they say this. They don't think this will be the last time that you troll me. Is that a fair assessment?
Possible. I'm an equal opportunity employer.
If you draft a
Well, yeah,
McCord, if
I
you draft a
answered.
McCord or Howard, that's 3 years from now. You should see these guys on football fields. By the way, 3 years from now.
McCord is like he's just like vanilla ice cream to
Yep.
me. It's just like very
Yep.
bland. There's nothing about him that excites me, other than maybe like his moxie and leadership. But like that's bad when you're like, yeah, he's a good leader, but yeah,
Jokes.
he
Jokes.
sucks, but he's
Jokes.
at least he's
Ryan
cool.
Day, felt to win the national title, he had to move on from McCord. That's what you need to know
Yeah,
about McCord. He felt like he had to
yeah.
turn to Will Howard and move on from it. Was McCord's job. He did not tell McCord's father that he's the starter, so McCord transferred. He felt
You
he
know,
couldn't win a natty with
you know
McCord.
who you know who McCord is? McCord is the ugly girl with the personality. It just does nothing for me.
Me too.
Is McCord better than your friend Joe Douglas?
Never. No one's better than him.
Office, go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. I hope all is
What's up,
well.
man?
Chilling,
Yes,
chilling.
same to you, Hope.
Thank you, sir. I think the one thing as a longtime NFL fan, the one thing that I guess concerns me is, there's a slippery slope when you talk about mobile quarterback, right? And just as a short example, that was what to me was extremely impressive about Jaden Daniels. You know what I'm saying? Because I really feel like mobility is more of that secondary aspect to running a solid, if not above average NFL offense, right? Because, Jaden Daniels could have certainly ran more. People probably would agree or disagree, but like, I think it caused a little bit of issues, even like with Lamar, you know what I mean? And like, I just feel like mobility isn't always the like instant go to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like, especially with a new system and so on, like that should more be secondary, in my humble opinion. I hope that kind of makes sense, right? I just think in the NFL, using mobility more than using the offense ultimately is a downfall more than a get up.
Office, I agree with everything you're saying. And I think we see teams win a bunch of regular season games with folks being able to run all over the place. And then once you get to the playoffs and defenses are better, that's where the shit starts to fall apart. If you ask me, I'd
Absolutely.
rather have a quarterback that's got mobility as part of the game, like they can take off and don't, they can feel comfortable taking off and getting the first down. But that's not the primary weapon. The primary weapon is, can they sit in the pocket and let the play and give the operate as a point guard, get the ball to playmakers. Like this is the stuff. And keep in mind,
You're in
again,
the
this
blender,
is
Mark.
just theory. Oh, am I? Sorry.
I hear him okay. I don't know.
Any better?
I just
Hello?
think today's
Sound good, buddy.
All right. Um,
I don't know if Bill can hear you, Mark.
Bill, can you hear me?
I can
Hello,
hear
Bill,
you
Bill?
can
now,
you
Mark.
hear Mark?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, just to put a cap on the point, I think that I'm thinking about Tanner Engstrom and the sort of offense that he wants to run. And again, we haven't seen him as a play caller, so we got to see it. But a lot of what he did, and Glenn said this, was he was trying to figure out how to get everybody involved. In my mind, getting everybody involved doesn't mean focusing on one marquee player, wide receiver, and just feeding this guy the football every time the play breaks down. And that's the other reason why I feel like if they can find an option that's not Justin Fields, I feel like they're going to take it. I think there are teams, and I hear what Jokes is saying. I'm not entirely out on Justin Fields as a starter. I just think out as a starter for the Jets. I think there are teams that are going to build the offense that is more, that fits his skill set better. I don't think that's Engstrom. I don't think it's the Jets.
So, Mark, when Glenn's talking about getting everybody involved, do you approve of Jeremy Rucker? Because I don't.
Oh boy. Well, oh boy, man. Look, I hate to say this because I know fans are very mad about the players on the offensive side of the ball. Um, I hate doing this, but I'm willing to give some of these guys a pass because I don't think they've been coached that well, and that includes Jeremy Ruckert.
So Jeremy Rucker gets a pass for 3 years?
Well, see, I hate doing this
Well, no,
because
he had the same coach for 3 years.
yeah, I hate.
Well, he had LaFleur his first year, no?
Let me see. All right, you know what, Pete? You're gonna get mad
No,
at me.
hold on. No. Now I can talk. Don't deflect here. No, don't deflect here. Come on, let's do
All right, well,
this.
you're gonna get mad at me because I'm gonna say let's see what they do in the draft because I think they like the tight end class too. But that's what I think. That's not what they said. So I don't know.
Mark, I'm not going to get mad at you for that. If they decide to move on from Rucker, then good. Yeah,
I'm
I mean
just
the tight end class is deep. I think they'll sign some. They have to sign a tight end, Mark. They have to.
they do it.
Now I don't know who it
Yeah.
is, but go ahead.
Well, no, they do, and they definitely do. And Rucker, I mean, I don't know what the hell to make of the guy. Like they had him as an H back, right? So they had him in what do you call it in a Y role in the offense. He was never the primary tight end, and then he would drop balls at key moments. But I felt like Brees was dropping balls at key moments. So I'm like, I don't know what to. And it's not like the coaching up front was great, where these guys knew their assignments. I felt like a lot of these guys regressed. Oddly enough, I saw more out of players like him and Garrett and Brees when they first became Jets than I did year 2, year 3, which is crazy to me. That kind of regression, like that, is wild. That's as strong an indictment on coaching as I think you can find when these guys start to suck. They lead championship programs, and then a year or two into being a pro, and then they look like trash. Doesn't make sense.
I agree with that, Mark. To be honest, Mark, did I lose you? Oh
No, we get.
no. Oh, Jarek, you hear me?
Yep, we hear you.
All right, June, you've been quiet today.
This app been killing me, bro.
Yeah, June, you ever like when you come into space ever like you can't hear it, and then you keep trying to you put start listening, and you still can't
Yeah,
hear.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They don't throw me out. All types of things.
It's
Yeah.
the
Well, all
app.
right.
It's the app telling you to let go of that Justin Fields drink.
Yeah, I knew Coach was
I
doing it.
can't.
June, go
You know, I
ahead.
can't wait till Pittsburgh give a Sam Darnold a 15-year deal. I can't wait.
Joe, you don't even believe that shit. You don't even.
Nah, what you think? I don't think Pittsburgh's going to offer Darnold that. But
Bro, if we not in the market for Matthew Stafford, we're definitely not in the market for Sam Darnold. Come on.
Justin Fields will not. I got a prediction. Justin Fields will not be in Pittsburgh. That's all.
I got a prediction. Justin Fields won't be in New York either.
all right, but what's your prediction, Coach?
That he's with the Steelers.
All right, yeah, but you're saying he won't be in New York, so just say he'll sign with the Steelers,
Well,
right?
I'll say it is, man. Don't trade for Derek Carr. I've heard some
Oh,
conversations.
Jarek, let me ask you something. All right, so we'll end soon, but we'll get some Bills talking here. Listen, I know he had a good year, but I mean, I think it's a lot to pay a slot receiver 15 million a year, but the production definitely warrants the contract. Fair assessment, or
Oh
give me your
yeah, no,
thoughts on
I
that.
thought that was a great. I thought it was a great contract. I thought he was gonna get a little bit more. I thought he was gonna get 17 or 18. Um, so no, I think yeah, the fact that he's making $15 million. Again, he deserved it. He was a top five slot this season. We knew, I mean, we knew the type of season he potentially was going to have, based on what he did a couple seasons ago, late in the stretch when he became Josh's number one target. So, yeah, I mean, I mean that production. I mean, that's if he stays healthy, I mean, that's exactly what you're going to see. He's probably gonna be number one on the team in targets. He's going to be one of the most dangerous players in terms of yak. I think he was third in the league in yak yards last year. No, he's a key piece to the offense. So no, it made plenty of sense. It made plenty of sense that he was able to do it, man. So that's one down, and he doesn't really hurt the Buffalo Bills long term wise. Matter of fact, actually extending him and getting this out the way now helps us more than it hurts us. So um,
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. They didn't update the contract, but this year, Khalil Shakir was just remember this number, uh, 3.4 million he would have made this
yep.
year. His cap number. So I'm sure that's what is he getting? 18 in the first 12 months.
I think he's getting. Yeah, I think he's getting around that.
Wow, Kyrie Elam's making 4.3
Exactly,
this year. Damn.
exactly. And we
Yeah, but they can't save any money if
yeah
they cut
yeah
him.
we're losing like damn near close to $5 million. We have no choice but to probably keep him.
Even if they cut him, I think because he's a rookie. I just did it. Hold on. Yeah,
We can't
you
cut him.
can't get out of
Like
here. Is this his fourth
yep,
year?
this is his fourth year. This is and this is where he's getting the large majority of his money. Like we can't cut him. I don't, Bills fans, they want to get rid of him so badly, man. Like they're not getting rid of a team with that much debt cap hitting them. There's no way.
Wait, let me ask you a question. Did James Cook's salary go up because of his performance? Yes, right.
No, because
Because here it says 2022 1,
mm-hmm.
2023 1.3, then 1.5 last year. Now it goes up to 5.5.
that
That's
that's how it's
crazy
always been.
for a second round running back. How come Brees Hall's not getting that?
I have no idea.
Wasn't it kickers that made it that way? For
Who?
certain things he hit kickers. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
there was
I don't
kickers in the
know. I
contract
don't.
that he
Yeah,
hit
I,
certain
I saw
levels.
that last year. Like last year, that money that was like almost the exact same money he had last year. So I'm not too sure about that. Not too sure about it.
By the way, Petey, going in the draft night, I think the Jets should send a seventh over for Kaya Elam. You feel good on you guys' team.
All
no,
Throwing that
right.
not
out
at
there.
all.
Can I do it?
Actually,
Oh, I'm a
wait, no,
co-host.
no,
I can't do the mute. That earns a
no,
mute for
no.
me.
Wait,
Uh,
let me say one. Can
go
I
ahead.
answer that, Trucker? I wouldn't take Kyrie in your truck. We could send him back in your rig.
I mean,
All
you
right,
you need a CB
fair
two.
enough.
You don't get Elam there. You never know. I mean,
He's not a CB two.
wait a minute. He's a man. He's a man corner. Aaron Glenn primarily ran a cover system, cover one. What's Kyrie Elam good at? He's got to cover. See, I'm finding solutions. I can take him.
Uh,
Hey,
Jay,
a
oh,
seventh round pick isn't much to ask for, too.
Right,
You
a
know what I mean?
seventh round pick.
And like
yeah.
5 years from
Y'all need
now,
draft
doesn't
capital.
even have to be this year.
Jay, you killing me, Jay. Jay don't agree with that
That's
shit.
your team talking, June. This is what you've done.
Come on, Jay. Don't. It
I
hurting
mean,
me.
this is
Mm,
draft capital.
Yes.
all right. You know what? I think we should end the space on
He's
this note.
trying to fleece us.
Yeah, seven. Yeah, seven. Give us a seventh rounder. Go ahead, take his salary of 4 point something million. Yeah,
Three
okay.
years,
All right.
you
Can
could
I
give it
end it
to
on
us
this,
in like
Pete?
2030. It's fine.
Yes,
Look,
Mark, and then we'll close.
All right. I'll end it on this. Aaron Glenn and Darren Mucci are undefeated in press conferences. They're 2-0, which means
Ugh.
that the Jets are going 17-0 this year, according to
Mm.
how
oh shit.
uh, you
Nasty,
know our fan base
nasty,
Too
talks
bad I
about
can't
it.
mute the room.
nasty.
So
With
just
Justin
want to
Fields
say
as the
that.
quarterback.
Mark, I would demote you as a co-host, but that's really disrespectful. So I can't
If,
do that.
like Jerry said, if Justin Fields the quarterback, I can see us going 17-0.
You
All
don't
right,
even
I
believe that
see.
bullshit.
Yeah, I see Dale down there. Uh,
Oh man.
Biz, Neek, what up?
June, go
Theo,
have your coffee.
Neat, what
Or
up?
have
you
a
still
great day,
sleepy?
guys. June, thank you for today and every day. Mark, same. Buckeye, Jarek, Bill, Farm, good to hear from you, Coach. ATH,
No, it ain't. It ain't good to
Aldis,
hear from that guy.
Yeah, it
Rusty, what
is.
up?
Every time.
J Mick. All right, June, I'm out. So
All right,
Thanks,
hurry up
Petey.
everybody.
before I hit that end button.
All
Jerry,
right.
See you, Mark.
Jerry, where you at? Buckeye. You
Love,
still here?
Petey.
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Tear it down.
Tear it down.